Hi, Namaste. I'm Sneha, the founder of Oh My Dog. A lot of you know me from my pet experience center, which is in HSR layout called Oh My Dog. But you must be wondering, what am I doing here today? And what are my two little babies doing here today with me? I'm just here to just say hi to everyone and just have a candid conversation about myself, about who I am, what Oh My Dog is all about, and what makes me do what I do every single day. When I started Oh My Dog, it was just a business for me, and it still is, of course. But over the years, I've realized that a big part of me, and I would rather say an extension of me, are animals as a species and what I feel for them, how I treat and interact with my community dogs, and my Miney and Momo here, who are wonderful, wonderful dogs and who are also rescues. And I've been hearing so many stories from wonderful people all across about their pet stories, their rescue stories. And the more I have interacted with these people and interacted with animals while working in this sector, the more I realized the importance of awareness, the importance of educating people, the importance of adopting and not buying, and how essential it is to talk about these topics and have conversations around this. If I can be the voice who will go out there and talk to people and help in removing a lot of biases and myths and misconceptions that usually people have about animals, and especially the fear attached with interacting and being around an animal. If I can be the one to talk about it and create some sort of a understanding in people, create some sort of an awareness in people, then why not? As many of you know, I have recently started doing workshops at schools. When I started Oh My Dog, I initiated adoption drives, which was one of a kind initiative which was taken by a pet retail store and a service provider. Not, I don't think many retail sectors have thought about initiating something like this, but my main vision was always to build a brand who would just not be a service provider but also a voice for speaking about animal welfare and things to do with animal wellness. I started with adoption drives, of course, and while doing that, I also came that awareness is equally important while we are talking about adopt and not shop. I started interacting with a few schools who were open to this idea of opening up their premises for having animals for demonstration and talking about them. I took the opportunity, and I'm so grateful to some of these schools like Samson International School, Lawrence School, Samarthanam School for the Disabled, and the Vivero International Preschool branches, who have given me an opportunity to go there with my dogs and have a full day of interaction with their kids, teaching them about animal welfare, teaching them about feeding and behaving well with their street animals. Also, for the people who have pets at home, how can you take better care of them? Why vaccination, sterilization, and are very important. What rabies is all about. Whatever I have experienced as a pet parent myself, I've tried to talk about it to these people, and the concept of this conversation today, this chat session today, is also where I can bring this part of myself and as a responsible citizen and a pet parent and of course an entrepreneur. And I wanted to talk about how my journey started here and why I have pets. So of course I grew up with pets, and I've had pets most of my life, and I've been a very hands-on pet parent. And now when I had Miney and Momo in my life, I learned so much about more about indies. And even if it's a pedigree dog, why do they get abandoned? Why do we have so many abuse cases for pedigree dogs? Building and knowing that comparison between both having a community dog, a street dog, and a pedigree dog, but both adopted and rescue from miserable situations. But knowing the difference between these two dogs, and how maybe out of breeding and one may be born on the street, but how they still share the same kind of trauma and abuse, because they are just the animals, they are the receivers and the victims, and they don't know whether they have been brought into this world through breeding or through just natural mating on the streets. As a responsible pet parent, it's my duty, I think, to go out there and speak about it more to the public, and especially to children who are going to be the next generation, so that they grow up with more awareness, and the next generation can live knowing that animals are a big part of our coexistence, and a big part of our ecosystem, and we are actually not complete without them being into our lives. Having said all of this, I'm also here to announce that on the occasion of completing 2 years of Oh My Dog and of my journey as an entrepreneur and a pet care person, I would be launching this forum as a podcast, which many of my fellow team members and people who work in the animal welfare sector and a lot of my friends have suggested that I should bring in these conversations on the table. I should bring in more people who are experts in certain fields to do with animal welfare, and they can talk about their experiences and share their stories. And hence I am going to start a podcast which I'm calling as Podcast by Sneha, powered by Oh My Dog, of course. And with this podcast, I'm aspiring to have a lot of people here, some with their fun stories, some with their insightful, inspirational stories, some who have lost their pets and are grieving, and all different, and show all different facets of caring and loving animals. Bring in people who talk about having babies and pets, and how their challenges and life has been, and also people who have chosen to have pets and not babies, what has gotten them to these decisions. Bringing in a lot of rescuers who will talk about things like canine distemper and how it affects their animal's life, and how it is to care for an elderly dog, what it entails when they are into the field, literally rescuing injured dogs and rehabilitating them. What are their struggles? What are their stories? I want to bring all of these people together and have a candid conversation here, right here in my living room, on my couch, with their and my pets around. And I hope that that's going to be a very interesting journey, and I'm looking forward to have many interesting people here. And today being the origination of this show and the first episode, I wanted to start it by addressing a few questions which I keep receiving from a lot of pet parents, lot of pet lovers, people who want to adopt. When I go to these schools for workshops and adoption drives, a lot of queries and general questions come from children, their parents, and even teachers to do with animals in general, and how to build a compassionate society. What should children do? Some of them have a lot of curiosity about why I do this and why am I doing these workshops, what am I getting out of it, and some really want to just get to know me as a person and my love for animals. I have a lot of questions here in front of me which I have jotted down over the years. We can take a few questions and start. Maybe let's take some very casual and a funny question to start with. Let's see. What's the silliest nickname you call your pet? I think both my pets have very quirky names, and my first dog was also a Shih Tzu who's now with an extended family, and that was also a very quirky name. I'm not sure if it's silly, but because I used to Googling a lot for any kind of queries that I had, so all my friends used to call me like a Google search engine. When I had my first dog, I started calling him Google, and then when I had Miney was already named Miney after the phrase "Eeny, meeny, miny, mo," and all her other siblings are called Eeny, meeny, and mo. We stuck with Miney because again, I didn't want her to be separated from the pack that she already has. And then when we had Momo, Momo was of course an extension of Miney, and there is already a Mo, so we wanted to call her Momo, and also that the color of her fur looks like looks like a dumpling, like a white with a brown glaze on it. And momo is one of my favorite junk food to eat, basically. So momos. I don't think they're silly names, but they're like funny and quirky names, and their behavior is also very funny and quirky, so it suits their personality. Let's take another question and see what people want to know. Who rules the house, you or the pet? Well, definitely, I think this is going to be a very common answer from all pet parents, that all their pets rule their houses and not them. Of course, before having pets, when your partner or family that you're living with, somebody is like the main person in the house. But I think once you have pets, even if you have children, but you also have pets, I think pets just take over your entire household and you also as a person. So it's the same with me. Definitely my pets are the rulers of the house and rulers of me also sometimes, and they have just taken over. As you can see, the couch, since I am my own guest today in my podcast, they are definitely going to feel like a constant, and they're just taking their naps on the couch right here next to me. So definitely they are the rulers. All right, now this is a very nice question. Somebody has asked me that what's one lesson your pet has taught you without even trying? For me, I think the biggest lesson, there are two things rather that I would say has been very crucial for me that I've learned from my pets and animals in general, because I also treat some of my friends' pets or just some of the animals I meet on a regular basis or our community dogs outside as much as my pets, so they're no different to me. I think what I've learned from animals in general is first to be patient, because it requires so much of patience and calmness in you too when you're dealing with pets at home or even like your community dogs, because you have to be patient with them for them to reciprocate that for you. That's number one. And number two, definitely the concept of selfless love, because I think as children you are conditioned to understand that if you are giving love and respect to someone, you are also expected to get in return the same kind of thing. And I think it takes a long time when you understand the concept of self-love. And I think being with animals, having animals in your household, in your life, is the best way to learn that. And definitely the kind of love and respect and, how do I say, the kindness that you get from pets, that is a lesson which no human can teach to another human. That's one of the second biggest thing that I have learned from my pets. All right, and now there's a very good question, that how if you didn't have pets, how would you imagine your life without them? I think I would not have had a life without pets. I was in a very bad phase of my life when I had taken in my first pet, and who literally saved my life. I owe a great deal of my existence to that particular boy, and also the animals in general. Even now, I think my pets are a big part of who I am, and they keep me sane and they keep me grounded and they keep me happy and content in my life. And I cannot imagine my life without having a pet, because I also grew up being conditioned with these ideas that you shouldn't interact with street dogs, they're going to bite you, and then you'll have lots of injections and things like that. So as a kid, when I was growing up, I also used to have these fears about being with pets. But when I grew up and I had my first interaction with an animal, even before I had a pet, I have spent a lot of time with animals by going to animal shelters, and I have had lots of friends who have been pet parents. So I have always interacted with pets while I was growing up. Slowly, of course, with time, I have learned being around pets, and there's a different kind of comfort that I feel, which I don't feel with any of my human friends also. Definitely, I cannot imagine having a life without animals around them. Before we wrap up today's podcast with me, and before we jump on to having more such wonderful conversations with other people in this sector, I want to wrap up with a very important question here, which people have asked me. That you started doing pet adoption drives, and then you went on to do workshops, and now I talk so much about animal awareness, etc. What has been the reason behind it, and what do I think how is this going to be like, be have any kind of impact? That's a very good question, because I also come across this question in a lot of schools, that why I'm doing it, etc., why I'm approaching the schools. I definitely want to address it. Well, obviously, like I said, when I started Oh My Dog, it was just a means of business for me. But while I started getting more and more into this sector, and I learned about the rescuing and adopting and how the breeding industry works, more and more I learned about it. I went on becoming more involved in this journey, and that made me come to this realization that doing these awareness drives and these adoption drives, and or maybe through this podcast, I can reach out to more people and bring people out of this fear, and especially help children understand who are going to be the next generation, to help them understand how important it is to have pets in your life, and what are the ways that they can impact their life. And definitely, myself being a mental health professional in my previous professional journey before I started Oh My Dog, I definitely want to show people and make them understand the deep connection that animal welfare, caring for animals, being compassionate towards them, has such a connection with mental health, and how it can impact your mental health journey, how you can integrate mental health issues and the part of healing with animal welfare, and to have therapy dogs, and to um, make them a part of your existence, coexisting with them, definitely. And just, if not do anything, just how to take care of dogs whom you encounter every single day. With that aspiration in mind, my focus through all of these activities, whether they're adoption drives or workshops or this podcast now, I would only want to reach out to more and more people and voice out my story, my opinion, my learnings, along with the people whom I would be inviting on this podcast and who will be willing to be a part of this journey. And this is not going to be like a very one-on-one table discussion or something. It's just going to be a very candid conversation here, right in my living room, on my couch, sitting with my dogs, sharing stories of people all around the world, and talking about their experiences with animals. With that said, I would want to thank everyone who's watched this so far, and people who have supported me and given me this idea to do this podcast, and giving me this courage to take this message ahead. And I hope I can do justice to it. And I'm looking forward to many fun conversations, many insightful and inspirational stories that will be shared by some of my friends, some of the people I work with, some of the wonderful people who work in animal welfare. And we will make sure that all of you remain entertained, but also be responsible pet parents and citizens and pet lovers. Thank you. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon for getting all the notifications. Follow our Instagram channel and watch our videos on YouTube, and share it with your friends and family.